Explaining to a child what happens to a body after death can be difficult. The challenges of talking to a child about cremation can be overcome with a thoughtful approach, being honest and sincere in your explanations of death, following the child's lead, and involving the child in the memorialization process can help you better explain cremation to a child. So, we are going to watch about the how to explain cremation to a child.
Method 1. Talking about death to a child. First is consider the child's age and developmental stage.
A child's age and developmental stage affects their understanding of death. Preschool-age children might think death can be reversed. Children ages 5 to 9 realize death is final, but think they can escape it.
Step 2. Be honest and sincere.
It is important to provide simple and relevant explanations of death to children. If you feel sad or angry, it's okay to show that. Omit descriptive details that you don't need to say.
Step 3. Avoid using euphemisms that might be confusing.
Do not use explanations like, "Daddy went to sleep," as the child could develop a fear of sleeping. Likewise, you shouldn't say, "Mommy went away." This can instill fear of even brief separations. Step 4. Make sure the child understands what has been said. After providing an explanation, follow your child's lead. They may need time to quietly process this information, or they may want to ask more follow-up questions. Step 5. Allow the child to ask questions and answer them honestly. If you aren't sure how to answer a question, it's okay to say things like, "I'm not sure," "I wonder," or "Let me think about that." Then, ask a trusted resource, like a partner or a friend.
Finally, read books about death with your child.
Reading a developmentally appropriate book about death with your child may help them to gain a better understanding of it. There are many child-focused books on the subject of death that you could read with your children.
Method 2. Talking about cremation to a child. First is follow the child's lead.
Consider what prompted your child to ask about cremation to help guide the conversation. Each child is unique and not all children will be curious about the process of cremation.
Step 2. Don't use words like burn or fire.
Telling a child that their grandmother will be burnt or placed in a fire can cause fear. It's important that the child is not scared by the concept of cremation. Using such words can have a negative impact on the child. Step 3. Reassure the child that the deceased will not feel any pain. Cremation can sound scary to children. Many are afraid that the deceased will experience extreme pain as their remains are burned. You can avoid this by reassuring them pain is not part of the process. Step 4. Tell the child the deceased spirit will not be harmed during cremation. For families who believe in the concept of a soul, it's important the child knows the deceased spirit or soul will not be affected by the process of cremation. If you are spiritual or religious, explain the soul won't be harmed. Try saying, "Grand." Step 5. Provide child-friendly details about cremation if the child asks for more information. Some children will be extremely curious about precisely how the process of cremation works. Do not go into detail unless the child asks you for specifics. Finally, explain what will happen to the ashes after cremation. Letting a child know where their loved one's ashes will end up after cremation can help them find peace and closure. Discuss the deceased's wishes with the child, whether it be the scattering of ashes or their memorialization in an urn.
Method 3. Supporting the child in the post-cremation process. First is include the child in the memorialization process.
Don't force your child to attend any memorial. Forcing them may cause more issues and could possibly affect the grieving process negatively.
Step 2. Allow the child to continue asking questions.
Just because a child did not seem interested in talking about death or cremation in the immediate days and weeks following the passing of a loved one doesn't mean they won't have questions in the future. Step 3. Make sure you support the child in the weeks, months, and years following cremation. It is critical that children feel supported and loved throughout the grieving process. Tell the child you are there to support them in any way they need. Try visiting the place where you scattered the deceased's ashes with the child.
Finally, note any changes in the child's behavior
after the cremation process is complete and the loved one has been memorialized. Watch your child closely for changes in their mood or behavior. These types of changes may indicate that the child is having a hard time processing the death. Seek the help of a mental health professional if you notice.
We hope it is useful to you. Please subscribe to our channel to upskill yourself.